Morning everyone. Another lovely morning here. Don't know about where you are, but we're having a lovely time. Lovely weather. Right, so today I'm going to show you, we've had a request, well a couple of requests really, for the building blocks. So I thought I'll do that this week and give you a couple of ideas using them, and also we're going to make a baby. Who'd have thought? So I'm going to crack on. I'm just going to show you this cake, which I made a while ago now. Just explain a couple of things about it. These are the building blocks, obviously, and in the set you do get. I'll move those out of the way in a minute. You do get a little chicken, a little boat, a rabbit, and a flower. Now I haven't embossed the flower around the board. I just wanted like little animals and toys, not the flower. So that isn't round there, but I will be using that later. And all I've done with this one is embossed. So you're just getting a nice embossed design. I haven't done anything else to that. On the building blocks themselves, I've used our alphabet and key. So it's the uppercase, the large ones, alphabet and key. And that's the size of them there. So BA and then another B and Y. So they just fit nicely on there, or a name if you wanted to put a name on. Right, so move those out of the way. Now on the blocks themselves, I'm going to make a block now, and then I've used these to, as I say, emboss, but also to cut out and paint. So I'm going to show you those as well, plus another couple of ideas before we make this super easy little baby that's going to sit probably up there. Right, so let's begin. I'll put that to one side a minute, so I need those. So I'll just take those off there. The first thing I'm going to do is make the block itself. So let's put that over there. Now we use a styrofoam centre because it makes it nice and light. You can use a sugar paste one if you wanted to, and but it's getting the nice sharp edges that can be a bit of a pain. So this is why I like to use the styrofoam. And also when you make them, I'll just go back to the cake again, you can put them on a cocktail stick and have them like this one here, sort of hanging over the side, because they're nice and light and you can stick them on a cocktail stick. They're not going to fall off. So it's just and up here with the teddy on it, it's just easier to arrange really on your cake. Right, so as I say, we use the styrofoam, and then also I like to use the flour paste. So I'm still using the Renshaw flour modelling paste. Whatever you're happy with, use that one. And also I have stiffened some ordinary sugar paste up with some Tylo powder. So I've done about a teaspoon into that. So you know, you need quite a bit, but it will firm it up. So I'm going to cut one of each out so that you can see the difference. So if you haven't got flour paste in, then we do sell the flour paste, but if you haven't got flour paste in, then you can thicken up some of your sugar paste. But you wouldn't use sugar paste just on its own. Right, I'm also using Trex. Now, this is where we can... Wayne, help me. And what was it? Kofa. Anyway, in Australia. And what is it in... anyway, in America. It'll come to me. But as long as it's a vegetable shortening, not an animal fat like lard or anything like that. So this is my flour paste. So I've coloured it with a little dust colour. You can use gel colours if you want to. I wouldn't use liquid colour because that will alter the consistency, so I wouldn't use that. But yeah, dust colour, gel colour, that's fine. Just going to keep that under wraps. So, got my Trexie board. Roll this out. Oh, no, still having trouble rolling out with the arm. Do my best. Okay. Right. You don't want it too thick. Just a nice thin paste. Just keep checking, make sure you've got plenty. Yeah, that's going to be wide enough. Just do another little roll there and there. Right, that's going to fit. Okay, so then we're going to put some tracks on the cutter, around the cutting edge anyway. Okay, and then press firmly around the outside edge. Now if your paste is a little bit too thick, you may not get a really sharp cut, in which case you'd have to then just go around with your knife and tidy it up. So just give a little flick. Okay, and then you can just pull that paste away. Now you can see here, I don't know if you can see, but it's a little bit jagged because this paste is thicker than I would normally roll out for patchwork cutters. So you've got a good line to follow, so you can just use your craft knife just to go around there, and that will give you a tidier edge on there. It doesn't take long. Okay. So I hope you're all doing well. Hope you're all okay. And keeping nice and happy. That's the main thing, isn't it? Happy. Right, let's get that down there, down that side. Make sure we've got a good cut. Right, so now we need to turn it over. So I'm just going to lift and turn it over like so. The reason for that, I want the square pattern to be on the outside of the block. So make sure that's straight. And then I'm just going to use water. Where's that water brush? I've got a fluffier water brush there, I'll use that. So just water over that, right to the edges. Okay. Make sure it's not too wet. You want it just sticky, but not slipping and sliding about all over the place. All right, then you stand your block. So these have been made to measure, if you like. That fits exactly in there. And so then you just get your knife, slide it underneath and pop that on that side, that one. Just lift it up to that side, the opposite side. Make sure it's nice and neat. And then this one up and over. And there's your little block. Make sure it's stuck down. And just tidy the edges. Now you could leave it like that. You could stick all your little animals and things on that. But I like to put the white on as well. So I'm just going to just press that down. Just make sure we get a nice neat little block. So I'll put that to one side. Okay. And I'm just going to roll out some white paste. And I'll just put that, I'll put it under the big container. Right. So again, the flour paste. So a little bit of the tracks on there. There you go. Roll, don't lift. As I say, this is just an extra. You don't have to do this part if you don't want to. Make sure that's going to fit. Just matter if it goes over a little bit because it's only these inner squares that I want, not the whole thing. Just make it slightly wider. Okay, so the cutters that I'm using now and in the coming weeks, we are doing a deal of the week offer. So just for that 1 week, you will be able to purchase them. Usually it's about half price or thereabouts. Just pressing well over all this. And so this week, this set and the 6 building blocks pack is on offer, which you can buy individually. You know, the cutters and the blocks separately if you wanted to. You don't have to buy the blocks and the cutters together. Right, so I'm just trimming round here, because I know some may have the cutters already. Okay, so you can just remove the paste. All this paste, you're just left with the squares. So I'll just put them to one side. We don't really need one for the under. These also, if you do them in red and put some white dots on, they make great dice. If you're doing a card or Vegas or something like that. So what you would do then is, instead of turning it over at this stage, so this pattern is on the outside, you would leave it as it is, so it's clear, it's plain then. But because the styro, you can put them on cocktail sticks and have them tumbling down the side of the cake, so that works well. Okay, so I've cut them all out, but I only need 5. You can pick the best ones. So always put your paste back under. Excuse me. Okay. Oh, excuse me, I've gone really deep voice there. Just have a little drink of water. And then again, so water on there. And you can pop your squares on. So there's no need, you don't have to wait for them to dry. If you don't want to, you can put them on and slide them into place straight away. And again, just make the surface sticky. You don't want it too wet. A little water on that. These are nice as well if you make them for a little gift for people. So I had quite a few on that cake before, so you could, everyone could take one home with a little bear sitting on top. Depends how many people are coming to the party, doesn't it? Right, let's just tidy that one up a bit. Right, so then we would need the little these to go on the top. I'm just going to put that to one side, don't need that one. So I'll take some white paste. Now I cut them all out in white first. Okay, put that over there. So roll out your flour paste, roll, don't lift. All the children are off school today, aren't they? So maybe we have some little ones watching. Right, let's put some tracks. Now, when I say about patchwork cutters, when they're very detailed or small like these, you really do need to put more tracks on than if it's just like a silhouette, just a single line cutter. So you press firmly and then give a little flick. Hopefully it won't stick in the cutter, but that one did. It doesn't matter. I'll just take that out. Where's my little knife? I mean, that one is really detailed, isn't it? Just put it there for now. There's a little arm. Okay, and then the boat. So pop that on like so. And the flower. And then there's a little chicken. So the rabbit and the chicken, great for Easter cakes as well, aren't they? You can use those for little cupcakes or something. I'm going to show you in a minute. Right, so I'll just pull that. Oh, should I cut another few? I can't resist. I'll just cut a few. I don't know why, but I'm just going to cut a few extra flowers. And I'll pop those onto my little plastic dusting sheet. Now you could laminate some paper, coloured paper, so this could be like a pink or a green background, which is easier on the eye. And if you laminate it, then you can just wipe it down and use it over and over. It's a bit the same as this really. Okay, just put your finger on what you want to keep and remove the rest. Okay, so I've got those on there. So then to colour them, just put that back under there. So I have my paint palette. Rather than get lots and lots of pots out, I put all my colours into a little paint palette. So I've got toffee, iced toffee, chocolate, gold, lime green, lilac, yellow. I've got a lemon meringue and a yellow in there because the lemon meringue on its own was a little light. Orange for the beaks, a blue and a pink, and then I've got a peach in there, which I'll go on about later. Right, so I'm going to paint those in. So I use isopropyl alcohol, which I'm getting a bit low on, but it should do today. And just going to, I'll do the duck first. Now you could dry dust them if you wanted to, and then just do the fine detail in a paint solution. So, okay, so just water for your brush, just a kitchen roll, just to dry that off. We'll do a pink flower, and a light brown, so I'm going to use this one, which is it's got a bit of green in, so we'll get rid of that. Iced toffee, so I'll do a brown rabbit. Now when I do the rabbit, do the ears and the head, the hand, well the paws, don't have hands do they, feet, tummy, but we're leaving a little, he's got a little jacket on. Okay, so we'll just go over with that. I won't do the other flowers. Oh, I can't resist. I'm going to do a blue one. So you can always, if it goes a bit pale, a bit wishy-washy, then just add more dust colour to it. But make sure that you go around that cut edge. You want the colour to come right round the whole piece. And then switch to a finer brush. And the centre of the flower, I'm going to do gold. So you can do lots and lots and lots of these on a sheet. I'm just showing you one of each, but you could, you know, you can just have loads of them ready. So, oh, I should have done the blue one as well. So just put a little bit of gold in there. The alcohol does evaporate away really quickly. Or rejuvenate spirit, as it's now called. Same thing. Now, for the little jacket, I am going to do blue. We can kid ourselves that it's like a you-know-who rabbit. Okay, just get your brush up right in there. and then a little pink in the ears. So if you're doing a sheet of rabbits, then obviously you do all the brown, then all the blue, then all the pink. So a little bit of pink in the ears and the feet. Oh, like so. And then I've got a very fine brush there. So I'm just going to put a tiny dab of brown. So a little dot, dot, nose. I haven't put the white on first. It depends how much attention to detail you want to put on. Right, so I'm just going to do the boat. So I'll do the base of the boat in a lime green, and one side of a blue sail, and the other the pink. So I'm just adding the colour in my little palette like that. And we'll do a gold flag. So I think I've got one of each there now. So you could leave them to dry, especially if you're going to do lots of these. Then you could then attach them onto your little... Oh, I haven't done the duck. Hold on. Need orange. Thought it was looking a little bit plain. There you go. A little bit of orange there. And there, his foot, and then a little brown for his eye. I could do white first, but I'll just do a little brown there. That'll do. Okay, and then we can lift these onto, much easier once they've dried up a little bit. So then I'll put some water on that one. And we can put a nice little flower. On there. And we'll put the boat. I'll just get it from the top. Oh, I'm going to lose that flag, I think. Maybe not. So, and then a little rabbit. You've got to find a small palette knife. Perfect. But if you have them dried, you might need to just put a little bit of sugar glue instead of just water, or even a dab of softened sugar paste to make it like a bit of a gunk to attach them if they've already dried. But because they're soft and the block is still soft, then I can just use water. So you've got your little block there like that. So that's quite cute. It just needs tidying up a little bit there. I think that one might have been better underneath, but we'll put it to the back. Right, so that's that. A rabbit's ears for it coming forward there. Just stick that on. Right. Okay, so what you can also do, you see, you saw me emboss around the board. I'll just bring this right over. So if you're having a bit of a party and you just want something really easy to do, then it's a sort of a cross between the two. So I've embossed and then I've painted rather than cut them out. So I'll just move that out of the way and I'll just show you these cookies. Now these are just chocolate digestive biscuits. So if you've got these in already, you don't even have to bake. You can just ice them, make them look a little bit more partyish. So now this is just sugar paste. You don't want flour paste that's going to go hard on your cookie or your biscuit. So I'm just rolling out the sugar paste, and I have just put a little buttercream on there just to hold it, and cut that out. Just find a cookie cutter that's the right size. Okay, and then I'm just going to pop that on top, like so. Bit of a hangover there, but never mind, we'll just push that in. Just pull, pull, pull. That's fine. And then you can take your little figures here. So I'm going to put one there, and a duck there, and a flower there, and a rabbit there. Okay, so that looks okay. Oh, now I'm just going to put that rabbit back on, so you should be able to just slide that back into the groove. I just want to have a little bit more definition on that. That's better. Now it just looks a little bit boring like that. I want it to look as though, you know, like material or wallpaper that's gone, you know, it's gone off the edge. So I'm just going to emboss part of the cutters. I'll do a flower one over there, and a little bit of a boat thing going on here. Right, does the cutters need tracks if you're using sugar paste? Yes, they do. I did say I'll show you the sugar paste one, which I will do. I'll do that now, because I want you to see the difference that makes. But you can see here how that just fills out, doesn't it? It just fills out the cookie. Now I've already painted a couple. I'm not going to sit and paint them because you've just seen me paint the others. So you would do exactly the same. I've got a couple here, but I think they just look so pretty for a party. Now the gaps in between, you can use a number 1 piping nozzle. Let me just see if I've got one here. While you look at those, I'll find a number 1. That's it. Let's see. Yeah, that's a number 1. And again, I think this makes all the difference as well. So I'm just cutting the end of the back, and that goes in there. And a little of the royal icing. So just need to remix that up a little bit. You could use softened sugar paste, you know, if you haven't got royal icing on the go, then just use, just get a small amount of sugar paste and add water to it, paddle it until it's nice and smooth, and use that. So you don't always have to have royal icing. I'll just put that to one side because I'm going to need that later. And then I've fold it flat. Never overfill your bag. Fold it right side, left side, roll it down. So you've got full control over that. And then you can pipe your little dots on there. Now if you're painting, like Tracy does fantastic painting, and she uses the little dabber on cocoa painting. I don't think it would work as well on just alcohol and dust colours. It may, but I like just to have a little bit of the texture on there. So all I'm doing is tiny dots around like so, and that just fills it in. Okay, but you don't have to, you can just leave them plain. I'll leave that one plain so you can see the difference. So that's just embossed, that's painted and dotted, and then that one's just plain. Okay, so let me have a little look at that while I just get this paste out. So I just want you to see now, this paste, let's take a couple of minutes to show you this before we go on to making a baby. Okay, so this paste now, I'll just move those, we'll have a little look at those. Okay, so this is just sugar paste with the Tylo added. So you wouldn't just use sugar paste on its own, okay? because it's far too soft and it would just get stuck in the cutters. I need knocking things about with my hand, but I'm not doing the whole thing again. I just want you to see how easy or more difficult it is to work. Let's see. Right, so there's the cutter. Not a question. Great topper for cupcakes. The topper on biscuits. Yes, it is. You can do them on cupcakes, and you can also do them on, you know, your buttercream piped, or if you pipe it and you turn it over and press it flat, so you've got a nice flat top to it. I'll have to do those one week. Then you can even make discs in advance and then brush a little bit of melted chocolate on the back, and that acts as a barrier from the buttercream. So you could do your whorls of buttercream or flat tops and then put the chocolate backed things on there. Right, so that is exactly the same, but you see it doesn't pull away nearly as neat. And so again, you would have to go around with your knife like so. I just want to quickly do this, 2 minutes, and then I'll show you this quick baby. And it is a quick baby. I'm not doing fabulous eyes or anything. I'm just, well, you'll see in a minute. Right, so you've got to handle this with more care. I'm not even sure if it will come off, but let's see. Okay, so you have to turn that over as you just tidy your cutter. Yeah, you can start off tidy. And then, oh, thought that was my water. As I did before, knife underneath, lift and flick it over. Oh, it does work. So then you could just wet it, wrap it round exactly the same. You just got to be a bit more careful because the sugar paste is a little softer than the flour paste. But yeah, if you haven't got flour paste, then yeah, you can get away with that. Cutting out the little pieces, let me just see that. If you roll that really thin, just make sure that's liftable, if you know what I mean. And then things like the flour, the chicken. So again, this is just the sugar paste with the Tylo added to it. I prefer gum trag, to be honest, but gum tragacanth, but Tylo would do. You might lose the flag on the boat. Let's just see. Okay. You could also emboss and paint. You don't actually have to cut them out, do you? You could just emboss and paint these on. So yeah, I'll just put on another. Oh, I've been using that one, but you can lift them off. Just be a bit more careful. Even the little bunny there will lift off. So yeah, I can feel obviously feel a difference between this and flour paste. The flour paste is much easier to handle, but then you can just use it as is there. Why do you prefer gum trag, Marion? Gum tragacanth is it's a natural product. It comes from the shrub, whereas Tylo is a man-made. So I always think that the gum tragacanth is stronger, but that's my preference. And there's different grades of gum tragacanth as well. Right, so that I will put to one side. I'll put it back in the bag so I don't get muddled up. So that's using your sugar paste with Tylo added or gum trag if you've got it. All right, and then I would use that exactly the same. So they are the little, So if you wanted to cut them out, you could have these ready, and instead of embossing and painting, you could just put these on. So there's lots of alternatives, but yeah, nice little cupcake tops as well. Right, so this baby we're going to make. So we're going to start off with flesh coloured flour paste. Now I've used that dust colour to colour mine. This one. So you just add whatever colour, whatever shade, skin tone you want. Let's move all this out of the way. Excuse me. And white. Going to have white for the nappy. So I always start off with the nappy. I'll show you the little fella that we're making. There he is. So it's a very quick little one. and he will sit nicely on the top of a cake. There it is. Okay, so just working up the flour paste now, so I'll just put him to one side. I'll sit him up there. So for the nappy, you either use our size rings, which would be a size 3, or if you do have the small scales, like these, the digital scales, then you would zero that off, and that would be 19 grams. Okay, I'm going to use our size rings for this. So, was it a size 3, which is that one? So that would sit halfway through. My hands are really traxy now. Half, though, too big. So if it sits on the top, it's too big. If it's halfway through, touch off there. Right, so give it a good pressure as you roll. Don't see much of the nappy actually, to be honest. And that should be, yeah, a little smidgen off. Okay, so then you just press the top like that to make a little dip, and just bring that round a little. So just hollowing that out a touch. If you've got dainty fingers, this will be a doddle for you. Okay, so just pinch that round, and then on the sides just push your finger in a little, just to make 2 little dents. That's where the legs are going to go. Right, so I will put that on the green board, on there. Put that to one side, and then you do the legs next. So it's a size 3 again, but cut into half. So if you're going to weigh it, then it would be 7.8 on the are you getting any more size rings in, Marion? We have the size, who's that? Maureen, we have the size rings in. We haven't got the Modelling Made Easy book back in yet. We were hoping to have Mark 2 out by now, but not enough hours in the day. Right, so this is a size 3. But we do have these size rings in. They're great because you can use them. Oh, you can use them for all sorts of things. I should show you more things that you can use those for. And I'm going to cut that in half. So just have a little. And then each one into a ball, and then you can tell whether you've gauged it right or not. I think one. Oh, it's not far off, is it? That's. Tiny pinch off that one maybe. So I'm going to go down now, use my ruler, and excuse me. Right, so I'm going to roll this into a sausage, which is written it down here, 4.5 centimetres. So that's just a little bit long there. Because babies are all chubbly and no necks and chubbly arms and legs, so you don't want long, skinny. Let's see, 4.5, that's it. And then you don't want long, skinny arms and legs. So you're going to take just a touch at the end there. Don't go too much, otherwise you're going to have enormous feet. Okay, and then just halfway along, so you can bend that leg round a little bit, like so. Right, so that I'm going to pinch up. Pull back for the heel, just narrow that foot a little bit, and then I'm going to, that's it, okay, so then I'm going to stand it up like that, and with my Dresden tool I'm just going to push in toes, so that's going to be the big toe, and then it's on so you've got your toes on there. You can just make a little line along there, and then you will see the backs of them. So I'll use my little knife here. I'm just going to go back in to that line like so. Use my bone tool just to stroke the base of the foot there. Okay, so you've got your, I'll be doing the other one in a minute anyway. You've got your little toes there. Now you can roll separate little balls of paste and stick them on, but I always find them falling off and disappearing. So yeah, so that's my little foot, and I'm going to bring that back in, and I'm going to use, I will use sugar glue now for this because I do want it to be quite solid when it's dried. So moisten in there with sugar glue. So big toe innermost. Now, rather than have thunder thighs, I am just going to pinch that down a little bit, just to thin a little bit, and that can go on there. And one little little foot comes round. They don't sit with straight legs, do they? They have bendy legs inwards. Okay, so doing exactly the same with the other one. Okay, so I tried for a few weeks to come up. Oh, it's out of stock. The rings on their own. You can buy them. No, you can't. Okay then. We'll have a look into that and sort that out, because we can alter that now, and we can sell the rings separately. So yeah, we'll do that later. Okay, so you've got your ball into a sausage. Have I got the right ball? It looks quite hefty, this one. 4.5. I'm just going to take a tiny bit there for the foot. Now flatten slightly, pinch up, narrow, and back for the heel. And then stand it up, get your Dresden tool. So this one is going to be, the big toe is going to be on this side. So we go 1, 2, 3. I'm just going to make, sorry, I've just got to do that to face me. So I'm just making a little line there. So you can see you've got the big toe, and then the little one's going right down to the tiny one there. Just smooth that underneath. You don't want really an ankle as such. You just want a little bit of shaping on there. I got that round, yeah, round that way. Thin out the end bit so he hasn't got thunder thighs. They do have, they are quite chubbly, aren't they? And then that will go on that side, like so. Just bring that up a little. And then you can have them just sort of overlapping a little, like so. And then you can just mark on a couple of little dimples where they bend in, like so. Right, for the body, I haven't written the body size down. I'll have to, thought I had. Right, okay, so that will be, let me see what size that will be. Yeah, number 3 again. There's no neck. You don't really see much of a neck on a baby. So I'm just going to roll that into a little cone, and that is again 4 centimetres on there. So a little glue and pop that on top, like so. Now, if you wanted nappy knots, we'll do those afterwards, but you don't really have nappies on, not with knots now, do we? If you want a little tummy button, then you can just press that in. Okay, now I always put the arms on last. I like the head to go on next. Excuse me. So the head is 26 grams or a 3.5. So the heads on a baby is always bigger in proportion. So this is to an ordinary person. Right, so this is 3.5 on here. So I think that's going to be a bit big, but I'll just work it so that it's nicely. Now in the body, I usually put either a cocktail stick, which I'm going to do now. If you don't like the idea of cocktail sticks, then you can use a lollipop stick. Just twizzle that down, cut it off where you want to be. If you think somebody's going to decide to eat the baby, then that sounds so wrong, doesn't it? But you know what I mean. If you think someone's going to have a bite, then maybe a lollipop stick would be better. Right, so make sure when you're rolling, I'm just going to move that out of the way a sec. Make sure when you're rolling you get it nice and smooth. If you think you've got cracks and you don't want them to be, then roll that back the opposite way. But you need to put quite a bit of pressure on there. Oh, just going to see. Quite a big head. Now I'm going to work flat on this. I would normally make this ridge and then put it onto my figure, but I want you to be able to see what I'm doing. So little finger in the middle, give a roll, and then just flatten. That's the forehead. So you've got chubbly cheeks. Okay, so it's as simple as that. Got a little crack there, but never mind. I'll put some hair on this one. Okay, so you've got that. Then I use a frilling stick. Now the end of the frilling stick has got a little curve on it, which I use for the mouth. If you haven't got that, then you can use a drinking straw. I had one here before. There it is. This is very small, but if you have a larger drinking straw and you cut down the centre and then remove that bit from there, so you're getting like half a drinking straw, if you like. Get rid of that. You've then got a little curve. So if you've got a larger drinking straw, you will be making that shape there. So I'm just going to push this into. I'm going to have the mouth slightly on one side because he's a bit cheeky, and then make a small hole where the nose is going to go. So about there. Then you take a tiny piece of the paste, like so. Now, if it's an order for somebody, do not go and put a great big nose on it. The mother will be so upset. Same with the ears. Be careful what you do. Right. So in there, then make a little teardrop shape and put the pointy part in the hole, and that will hold it in place. So you've got a nice little dainty hole there. Now you can go to town on eyes and stuff. I'm going to take my black pen, and all I do is think about where that's going to be. I just need to look at it for now. I'm just going to put two little lines there, and then when that's dry, I paint a little white line to lie beside it, and then you'd have a little touch of pink. Now I'm not going to put too much on here, so I'm just using the colour that's already on the brush. You can see that there, so you can have a little look at that, see that it's nice, just a hint of colour. And then opposite the eyes, so you can make a little hole now. So go down and opposite the eye there, and opposite that eye there. That's where my ears are going to go. So you take two small, as I said, don't put great big ears on it. Okay, so maybe just smaller than that. They're quite big, but hey ho. Right, so then you put a little bit of glue where you've marked. And then as you put that on, just give it a little press as you put it in place. And then use your Dresden tool just to press, just support it at the back so that you're making a little hole where the ear is going. All right, same on the opposite side, so you put a little bit of glue where that hole was. Press as you put it on, and then with your Dresden tool just support it at the back and push that in. Okay, so as you look from the front, try and make them look the same, like that. Okay, and then you'd have a fine brush and a little pink. So I'll just bring my paint palette back in. Ooh. So just a fine brush, and that would go in there. I'm just going to pop that on and then just make the hands. So a little bit of the glue around the top, so it's not dripping. You don't want to have very drippy babies there. And then that, just need to look at it as that goes on, like so. Oh, just squashed his head. As I say, I would normally do all that. Once I've made the head, I usually pop that on there. I need to just adjust the eye as well. I've got one slightly longer than the other. Let's just have a little look there. But when you've made the ball, you've made the ridge, I usually put the head on and then I can do all the other bits while it's on. You don't get the flat back of the head then. It's looking up. Anyway, so then I put the arms on. This is a little bit taller than the other one, but that's because the body is a little bit bigger. So arms are 4 grams or a 1.25 circle. So there's my circles, and you can put a 1.25, which is that one. So each of these have a little number on. Oh, no, not 1.25, is it? Oh, 1.75, sorry. Couldn't find it on there then. 1.75, so that's this one. So these little squares here have all got the little sizes on. So when I refer to things in the Modelling Made Easy or book 2, which will be coming out, you can see straight away the numbers. But if you've got a scale, then you can weigh it. So what was it? 4 grams. Okay, so that's halfway over. And then another one. So the body, I haven't put the body size down on this one that I've made before. I think this body is slightly longer, so the whole baby's looking taller. But that's fine. It's what you want. Okay, so that's fine. And then you can just into a sausage, which is 4 centimetres. They're all round about that, aren't they? 4 centimetres. And again, just take the tiniest bit for the hand, if you can see that on there, and then flatten it. And then use your scissors to cut in at the side. So cut a thumb, cut out the little wedge, touch the end of the thumb to round it off. Now I'm not cutting through, I'm just marking these. 1, 2, 3. So you've got 3 little fingers there. Turn it over. Now press the palm, like so. And then bring that round so you've got your little hand. Halfway, just give a little wobble so that will come forward, and then straight away, don't make the other one, just put them on straight away. Little glue on the side, and then that can go on there. Now remember, arms come at the side, not round the back here. They're coming on the side, and you can mark on your little dimple on the elbow. Well, I forgot about the hand, so let me just get this hand, and then you can just put your little dimples at the base of each finger. You could use a cocktail stick for that. make sure they don't slide down. That's it. And then the other one, again, into 4 centimetres. Not too much for the hand. Flatten. Now remember to put the thumb on the opposite side, so that's going in. Angle, remove that wedge, push the end of the thumb to round it off, and then mark off your little fingers. Curl it round, press the palm with your bone tool, and then bend halfway along. Again, don't forget your little dimples and dimples on there. Now I haven't got hair on this one. If you do want hair, then you can pick some inch. I'll just do it lastly now. Right, so if you want to have this baby holding something, then you just need to lift the arm and support it until it dries. Now I'm just using these little makeup sponges that you can buy from supermarkets. Just make sure the shoulder stays on. Yeah, so that will dry in that position. Okay, and then if you wanted hair on it, then you could just use some alcohol. Oh, sorry, everything's clattering now. So I would go for a light colour, and I've got a little piece of sponge here. So if I put some isopropyl alcohol, oh, I haven't got any left. I'll just use water then. But alcohol would be better. And you were meant to do something before I started. Right, so just make your dust with water will do, and then you can just dab that on the top of the head if you wanted to. I wouldn't bother putting piping on or anything like that. You don't want it to be well, unless the baby's got lots of hair. If the mother says put as much hair on as you can, then go for it. So he would just dry out. So let me just move this off here. I do the same with trees. I sponge the colour on tops of trees and things. It's just an easy way of doing it. So here's the one I made earlier. So they're having a bit of a party. So one's slightly larger than the other, and that is all down to the length of the body is just slightly longer, because everything else is the same size. So, and then you can make something to go in their arms. I won't make a little teddy, but you can just roll out a tiny piece of paste. If they're anything like ours, they'll always have a little cosy blanket. So you can roll out a little bit of paste, and then I will find my knife, put that into a little oblong, give a little pinch like so, and a little glue just on the hand there, and then you can just thread that through. Like so. Handy if you've made a mess of one of your feet, you can always cover it up with a cosy blanket. So there we have it, our little babies. So I would maybe put one of those onto, or both. So you could just not have quite so many teddies, or let's put this one on, easy to handle. Could sit in amongst the teddies on there. You can have another one sitting down. You see, he would sit on top of a block if you wanted him to, like so. And then we could have the other baby. You place it where you like. There's quite a lot on that cake. Right, so I hope you've enjoyed that. That was a bit of a marathon, wasn't it? yeah, hope you've enjoyed that. And if you've got any questions, please, I hope you've asked them as we've gone along. But if not, I will answer them probably this afternoon or this evening when I get 5 minutes. I can sit down and answer all your queries. Yeah, the coffee mornings are going well. The first one is sold out, so if you're interested in coming to the coffee mornings, then yeah, do book on. And the demonstration day is going really well also. I think there's about 10 places left and that's it. So thank you for all your support. And I'm not quite sure what day I'm on next week. I think Tracy's on next week as well. I know she's on Karen's this week, so Karen Davis, you might catch her on there. And Kelly's home as well, so that's why she's a bit busy. So I'll let you know what day I'm on next week and what I'm going to be doing. So thank you very much for joining me. Hope you've enjoyed it and see you again soon. Bye.